For those of you, I will have background noise. I may have some kids running around, have them situated with some movies and whatnot, but try to keep them at bay as best I can while I walk you guys through this stuff this morning. So please forgive me with any interference we may incur at the Donaldson household.
Sounds good.
All right. Everybody see and hear me, so I'm going to go ahead and turn this up a little bit. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to talk you guys through this thing. I'm going to mute everybody just so everybody else background noise doesn't pick up. If y'all have a question, either raise your hand. There's a little hand icon on there, or just send something through the chat box. Or actually, even better yet, if this just works for everybody, I'll leave the mic open, and you guys can just self-mute yourself and then open your mic if you have a question. And as long as we don't get too much noise in the background, I'll leave that open. Does that work for everybody?
Yeah.
All right, so we'll go with that. All right, so today is day 2 of the MyTech training. We're going to talk a little bit the marketing component of that. Yesterday, obviously, we covered the CRM in the database. We'll cover a little bit of the database and how that interacts with the marketing components that we have through eEdge, Market Leader, and Michael Lewis Marketing. So as always, when you guys, I am logged in as Mary, so let me log in as myself. So when I set up accounts, it cookies to old, or the most recent account that I'm in. What's going on here? That works a little bit better. All right, and I'm also recording this session, and I'll post this up online since we are on that. I have the ability to do that. So if you recall from the database, we talked yesterday a little bit about my leads and my contacts. So it's important as we add people, we categorize them properly. But the next step after we have everybody in our database is to move them into the marketing component for staying in touch with them. Remember, staying in touch with your clients, being on their forefront. Anytime they hear the word real estate is really your biggest goal. I always tell people that don't be offended and don't get upset if somebody you know, love, and trust actually ends up using somebody else. Maybe look to yourself first as to maybe why that happened. Maybe it was a communication issue. Maybe it was a spontaneous in the moment for them where they may have referred somebody else out. Or maybe it was just like, you know what, they just didn't want to utilize you in your business from their personal side of things. And that's okay, because they may always still refer you business, but just not use you as their preferred realtor because of that. So don't get caught up on the small stuff. But if you're doing your job and you're communicating with them properly through social media channels, through phone calls, through pop buys, through coffees, through constant communication, they will more than likely remember you the first time that they need assistance in real estate, either for themselves or for somebody else. So in my marketing, there's 2 components. As I mentioned, there's the eEdge, and then there's Michael Lewis Marketing. Inside of eEdge, there's also 2 or 3 components to that. There's a campaign manager, which is an email automatic drip campaign. It's when you hear us talk about 8x8s, 33 touches, 12x12s. And that is just a kind of a set it and forget it type of management campaign, because it automatically goes for you once you've launched it. First thing we need to do actually, though, is launch those individual campaigns. They're not automatically set up for you. You just got to turn them on. So we're going to do that step first. So we're going to go in here to manage and create campaigns. And if you're, following along, or if you're working on your stuff, that's okay too. So this is a campaign dashboard. Now, obviously, I have a lot of campaigns that are currently running. Yours will probably be blank, or you may see one campaign. Might be your newsletter. I think that automatically pops up first. So the first thing I said that you need to do is you need to add a campaign. So in the upper right hand side, you see this add new campaign button. So if you click on that, it's going to open up all the campaigns that you have available to you. Now, I have 142 because I have a pro version of this system. You guys may see, I want to say it's in the 60s that comes to you straight out of the box with a basic system, and that's okay. On the left-hand side, you have the ability to sort these different campaigns through delivery schedule, collection, or campaign title. I typically will sort them by collection. You guys should have these three: Market My Business, Buyer, Seller, Sphere. And then you will probably have an all collection and then maybe repeat and referral. Some of the other ones I know you don't have at your disposal, and that's okay. So let's just go ahead. And so we're all looking at the same thing. Let's go ahead and click on a Sphere campaigns. And you'll see that there are 31 of those that are now available to you. Direct campaigns, 12 direct, 33 touches, another 12 direct. And if you recall, a 12 direct is what? That's once a month. 33 touch is actually more than 33 touches. You'll see here that says 29 steps and 18 activities. That certainly is more. So they have increased the amount of touches for you to stay at the forefront of your clients. Now, these campaigns reset every year with new up-to-date content. The 12x12s, the 8x8s will always start on step 1 of a campaign because it's 8 steps for you communicating with them. The 33 touch and some of the 12-step campaigns may not always start on step 1 because they are time of year campaigns. So you see here that this is, what's that now? 37 steps left in the remainder of the year. That rolls over from 2017 to 2018. And I want to say it goes through about April before they load up the new campaigns. So if you add somebody to a 33 touch in February, you can see that it's got 37 steps. If I was to add somebody in April, then that may be reduced down to 15 steps because it's always up-to-date information, period of time information, time of year, seasonal data, that market statistics for any particular month are in that. And once they've passed by, then that is no longer available to somebody else that I would add to a new campaign because it's no longer pertinent. So don't get caught up on the amount of steps that are left in a particular campaign, especially those in the 33s or the 12x12s, because those are annual campaigns. 8x8s, the information in those stay fairly static, so you will always work itself through step 1 through step 8. So I'm going to go ahead and pull up an 8x8 here. Here we go. 8x8 seller. So when looking at these campaigns, whether it's 12x12s or 8x8s, you'll see this box, and it'll tell you what the interval is. This one is 6 steps and 3 activities, so obviously it's a 9x9 now. So these are automatic emails that will go out, and then you have 3 activity steps to do, which will be phone calls. And then right here, it tells you what is this campaign set to accomplish. This campaign solidifies you as the local area expert of real estate choice with the goal of converting prospecting sellers into clients. So that's what this particular campaign is meant to do. So different campaigns have different objectives. I don't necessarily have a breakdown of all these campaigns and what they are, so you really kind of have to go through and look at each one and see how they apply to you, where you are in your business, and the group of people that you would like to send it out to. The other thing that you will notice is that there are 2 of the same ones. This one is the Right Move, and this one is the Right Move. However, this is the Right Move team version. The only difference between these 2 is how it's written, I versus we. So if you're on a team, or you talk from a team standpoint, then you use the team version. If you're a solo individual agent, which the majority of you are, then you're obviously not going to use the one with the team version. Sound good? Great. All right, so right below that, you see Show Campaign Details. So if I click on that, I can actually see the individual pieces of the campaign. And this is really what I love, is that the pieces that they send out are all formatted and ready to go for you. You see that there's some steps that are built in here. But the actual marketing pieces, I can scroll through and I can actually look at any individual one and a preview and say, yep, I like that. I want to go through that. This is what I want my campaigns to be on. So you always have the ability to preview them before you send them out. And that's important because you need to know, remember, these are written on a national level, not on a local level. So sometimes the campaign might sound great, but if that's not specific to what's going on in our current marketplace, you need to know that too. So you got to make sure you're addressing your audience appropriately. So if you decide that, hey, you know what, this is a campaign that I want to send my clients up on, then we would go up in the upper right-hand side here and we would click choose this template. This is going to open up the template launch manager. You'll see step 1, it's the name there. We won't need to do anything to the name unless we make changes to the campaign itself. We do have the ability to edit a campaign. So if we look here at step 2, it says, okay, this campaign is scheduled to start day 1 after contact is added. So if it's a Sunday and you meet somebody at an open house, then you come back with their contact information, you're going to add them to your database, then you're going to set them up on a campaign. So if you set them up in your database on Sunday, this campaign, if this is the one you're going to choose for them, will start on Monday, one day after they were added to the actual campaign itself. And I'll show you how to add clients to a campaign from your database versus just launching the campaigns live here in just a moment. You'll see what the subject line is. You see that, here's the actual piece that's going out. You see that you have the ability to delete it right here, and you have the ability to personalize it. Now, delete it is something that I've used. So if I go through here and there's a campaign that I like, but maybe there's one component of the campaign that I don't like or I don't think is relevant to my marketplace or who I'm sending it out to, I will just go ahead and delete that. And I said, do you want to delete the step? I'm not going to do it now, but if I did, then I would be forced to rename this, okay? Secondarily, I can personalize the content that's on here. Now, when we set up your account, your likeness, your photo, your contact information will pull to this. If it's not complete, as you see mine is down here with a contact information, headshot, office logo, or team logo, I'm going to show you where to add this information. You do not update this information on the individual email campaigns themselves. That'll take you forever. So there's a master template for that I'll make sure you guys know how to update. But here's the actual content. So I can click on any one of these fields and change out this content. Now, I myself currently am an individual agent, so I don't have the bandwidth or the leverage to be going through and recreating the wheel here. So I kind of trust Market Leader in its content, and I'm either A, going to use the campaign as is, or I may delete a step. I don't have the ability to go in here and to look at each of these campaigns and edit these, but there are certainly agents that are more concerned about it than I am about what's going in, or they have staff that can go in and clean these things up and do turn them into a little bit more market specific or local to the local marketplace. But that's okay. So I'm going to go ahead and exit out of here. As you scroll through, you'll see that there's different places, different steps. If we scroll down to step 4, we'll see that we're now at an activity step, right? It says signed as a phone call, right? And the nice thing about this is that it actually gives you a script of what you should say when you pick up the phone to call this person at this point in time. Open that up. Now, it's really important that when you pick up the phone to call somebody, if this is the activity that you're on, because you're going to get a notification. See, I have a reminder up here. This is where it'll show up, and it'll also show up on your homepage that you have activities to complete, that you don't just pick up the phone and start reading the script. You're going to sound scripted, you're going to pause, you're not going to be comfortable, and you're more than likely may get hung up on if it's not somebody that you have a rapport with. So it's always important to go through these campaigns before you start making your calls and understand, okay, if I have a call today, what's the script? And practice it a couple of times. When you partner up with somebody in the productivity group, talk to a mirror, record yourself on your phone, and just get comfortable with what you're going to say. You really want to start internalizing these scripts because you will deal with rebuttals. You'll see that it says no or yes down here, depending on what your client says. And, I'll laugh, but a lot of times, very few people enjoy getting on the phone. I'm not one of those people that enjoys picking up the phone all the time, but it's a necessary for what we do, and you will get more comfortable with it. But I know there's a lot of people that will pick up the phone and pray that somebody doesn't actually answer on the other end, which is kind of silly if you think about it, but you can understand the mindset of some people with phone work. But practice it, master those scripts. So they're there for you. As you continue to scroll down, you see through the rest of the campaign, we'll see that step 3 says add or remove contacts. So obviously you need to have people in your database in order to add contacts. So this allows us to add people en masse to a particular campaign, which basically once you launch it, it's about the only time you add people en masse is the first time you launch a campaign. Once it's been launched, it'll always be available to you to add individual people to at any particular time. You'll see that it defaults into different groups. Most of my people are just in contacts. I'm redoing my database from one system to another, and so I'm kind of bulk loading some people in here. But I can change it to group level management or contact level management. You'll see that anybody that is eligible can be added to a campaign. So what constitutes an eligible contact? Anybody want to speak up? What makes somebody eligible? Silence is golden today. Okay. An eligible contact is anybody that has an email address in your system or has not opted out to receiving bulk email, right? So the system allows people to unsubscribe to you. That's necessary. So anybody that's eligible, you could click add all, or I could click individual people. If I add all and I realize, okay, I don't want this person, I don't want this person, I don't want this person, Andy Stevens, that person's this person is another agent. Be conscious of who you're sending things out to. It happens quite often that I end up in somebody's database and then they come to this class and then they go ahead and set up a campaign and they just add everybody without auditing it. And I end up on their marketing campaign list. So I therefore have to unsubscribe to things. So be conscious to who you're adding. Yeah, Trish, what you got?
I was just typing. I pressed enter before I actually got my question out.
Oh, okay.
So are you going to show us where the opt-out comes in so we'll know to remove those people?
The system will mark them. If they do opt out of a campaign, you'll receive an unsubscribe notice and it'll be marked on their record. So they won't be available to you to add to a campaign once they've unsubscribed.
Oh, okay. So that it'll automatically kind of remove.
It'll be notified and marked on the contact record. Good question.
You'll start them on a campaign. If you start them on a campaign and then they decide to opt out, the system automatically removes them.
Yeah.
From that campaign.
It'll pause that. It'll pause that campaign for that agent or for that client. Yeah. And in your contact record, and we'll scroll back to that, you'll see that a contact or a campaign is actually marked as paused. That means for some reason something happened in the campaign that changed their status to receive that. It may be that they unsubscribed from the campaigns, or maybe you had them on a campaign that was an 8x8 to convert them as a client. Then they became a client, so you put them on a different campaign. Maybe you added into a 33 touch because you no longer needed them on the 8x8. So the 8x8 would have paused, and then maybe the 33 touch is now what they're on.
Got it. Thank you.
No, not a problem. All right, so we would go ahead and we would save all these changes and say, okay, I wanted all these people. No, I'm not going to launch another campaign for my database, but that's what I would do, adding remove contacts. Then the fourth step would be to activate the campaign. Now, you can activate campaigns without having anybody on them if you haven't built out your database yet. Okay, where'd my screen go? That way the campaigns are available to you in your drop-down menu without having set up a group blast the first time. So, come on, market leader, what are you doing to me here? All right, review and activate. All right, so when you go to review and activate a campaign, it asks you, what do you want, what next? So if I put them on an 8x8, or if I start them, and I'll tell you actually, so when I meet somebody new that I don't have a relationship with, the actual first campaign that I put them on is what the mobile app campaign. There's a 3-step mobile app, which if I haven't already gotten them to download it at the open house, which is part of my conversation there, I will offer them that campaign.
Hey, David?
Yes.
My screen blanked out here, so I don't know if I can't see anything.
Try refreshing your screen.
All right.
Did that catch back up for you? Yeah. I had my screen locked, paused for a second. I did refresh it. I'm seeing my screen okay. You guys all now seeing the screen okay?
Yes,
All right.
I am.
Excellent. Okay. So once we put somebody on a campaign, it wants to know, what do you want to do with them next? So once you've activated a bunch of campaigns, you have the ability to say, okay, do this step next, right? So if I run through an 8x8, then I'll add them to a 33 touch. If I had them on a mobile app campaign, then I'll add them to an 8x8. So the more you get familiar with the campaigns, you'll understand your process of what works best for you. So like I said, for a new client, for me, I usually go mobile app, 8x8, then 33 touch. If it's if it's somebody I know or have a relationship with, I'll usually go straight to a 33 touch. Then the next question beckons, all right, have you reviewed the campaign and the recipients, and you agree that all recipients have opted in to receive an email from you and have not harvested or purchased list? So as long as the clients gave you their email contact information and you didn't buy a list from a third-party vendor, then you do have the ability to email them. And obviously the system allows them to unsubscribe. And then it says, do you want to include showcase properties on email? So when you have listings, you can attach showcase listings, which are your listings, as part of your email to go out to your clients. So it's certainly something you would want to do. So you would literally just check off both of those boxes and then go ahead and click activate the campaign. So that is launching a campaign first. Any questions on that process? All right, thank you.
Wait, David,
Yes.
real quick. So for this one, this is for your sphere. So they have to have opted, or they have to have given you their email at some point.
Well, remember, anybody, more than likely, everybody in your database that you have an email address for, by you having acquired their email address from them, has agreed to communicate with you. The only time at this point, if somebody's in your database that they didn't agree to receive something, is if you went out and purchased a marketing list.
Okay. So like open houses would count.
If they gave you their email address in an open house, absolutely.
Okay. All right.
You met them in line at the grocery store. You met them. They sat next to you in church. If a person gives you their email address, then you have the right to communicate with them.
Okay. All right. Got it. Thank you.
Now, I want to follow up on that. So say someone, maybe your cousin Mary unsubscribes from an 8x8 that you have them on. Okay. Now, there's a couple different things why that may happen. One, they may be what I call having a case of the Mondays. Do you ever start just unsubscribing from all kinds of things in your database? I do that because I get so many emails. So I just start unsubscribing from things. Maybe they accidentally unsubscribed from something you had them on. That's a great time to then call them if you haven't talked to them in a while. Say, hey, I noticed that you unsubscribed from this campaign. I just wanted to touch base and see how things were going. And see where they're at. They may just say, you know what, I just get so much stuff, and you're my realtor for life. I just don't need this stuff right now. And you'd be like, hey, no problem. Is it okay if I reach out to you once a month or whatever that looks like? And they're more than happy to say yeah. Maybe another option may be a life event has happened. If you're sending them contact information and you think they're an active and ready, really participating buyer, and you're emailing them their campaigns and they're getting their updates, and all of a sudden they opt out, and you're like, well, that's odd. We were out last weekend. Now, what are they opting out for? Well, maybe something happened to them. Maybe they had a job change. Maybe they're unfortunately going through a divorce or separation, or they just decided not to be in the market right now. Again, pick up the phone and find out what's going on. Get a status update. Same type of conversation. Hey, I know she unsubscribed, and Joe's going to get a promotion. So we don't know what that's going to look like. That might lead to a job change for him. So we're not going to buy that house in Loudon right now. We're going to hold off and see what happens. Hey, not a problem. Is it okay if I just kind of keep you up to date with market stats once a month? And I'll take you off of this campaign. I won't hit you with much information, but I'll reach out to you every now and then and keep you set. Oh, that would be great. If they say, no, I just don't want to receive anything right now, not a problem. I'll take you off any campaigns that I have you on. But if I see something, I'll just email you personally every now and then. Okay, that's fine. Or I'll call you every now and then. So just because somebody unsubscribes from a marketing campaign email doesn't mean that you can't send them a personal email afterwards. So remember, this is a difference. As long as you're not spamming them or marketing to them after they subscribed, you could send them a follow-up email. So a lot of times, if it's somebody that you've never had a relationship with that signed up on your website through either a marketing campaign, they found your website, or they were searching and you put them on a campaign and they opted out, maybe you never connected with them or you can't reach out for them, that's okay. Then maybe they'll just keep coming back and use your website to search for real estate, and that happens too. So don't get turned off if somebody unsubscribes from you. There's lots of reasons why that might happen to you. Remember, never take anything personally. All right, so I tell you guys to go ahead, go through after this session, set up a bunch of different campaigns that'll be available to you. Remember, you don't necessarily have to put people on campaigns to activate them, but you do want them available to you so you can add people from their contact records at a later date. So I'm going to go back to the database now and show you what it would look like if I added somebody new, and then I wanted to add a single person to a currently running campaign. So if I come back here at the top and go back to my contacts, right? So we're under marketing here. I'm going to move back to contacts here. And let me just go back to my all contact field and see people in my database. Jenna is one of my people that I always refer to. She's somebody I've never had contact with, but she comes back and looks at property all the time. Same with most of these people. My wife, I use her all the time when I'm testing. All right, see this Zubin. Dora, I'll just pick on Dora. So across the top of their contact record, I have a more action field. Under the more action, I have the ability to add them to a campaign. So if I click add to a campaign, it's going to show me the campaigns that are active, right? So for you guys, if you haven't launched anything yet, then there's nothing here. But then I could go through here and click add them to any. See, I had her on a 12 seasonal, that's completed. I had her on some of these different ones that I could either now add or was paused at one point in time. And maybe I add her to this what's next campaign. And boom, she's now been added to that. And if I go down to her contact record and I scroll all the way down and I look at campaigns, I can also add the campaigns here, or if I open that up, I'll see the different campaigns that they're on. And I just added her to this particular campaign. And it'll start to run through. So adding people to campaigns once they're launched is straightforward and that simple. Now if I come back out to the contact record at the top level, from this top-down view look, I could see here that I can add them to marketing. I could do it straight from this record, and I could pick what I want to add them to. So I could do it from their contact record itself. There was two different places in that contact record to do it, or I could do it right from this overview record. And there's also, well, oh, that's right, it's not there anymore. It's on their contact record. Sorry, it's here and on their individual contact record. Any questions on adding somebody to a campaign once campaigns have been launched? Alrighty then, moving on. So those are campaigns, and those campaigns are all email driven. Okay, so I'm going to go back into my marketing here. Now I happen to be in my database, so I can navigate back to the marketing center from here, right? Or if I was on my eEdge dashboard under the plus button, I could create marketing materials. Now remember, I implore you guys every day to be going into your eEdge and clicking around, looking at where all the different links take you to, so it doesn't take you long when it comes time to actually be maneuvering through each of these things. So there's email marketing, there's print marketing, and there's campaigns, which we just covered all of that. So now under email marketing, I can really take any single piece that's of a mass marketing campaign and use that as an individual mailer or an individual email. So if I clicked on email marketing and I just go ahead and click browse email marketing, I'm going to see hundreds of different pieces that are available to me to send out as a single email announcement or letter. And again, on the left, I have sorting options, right? Are they listing enabled? Are they email and video? Are they postcards? So or are they a guide? Right? What would constitute a guide? You don't see these things, but at the bottom you're going to see these home to buyer presentations, right? Because I'm on buyer marketing. If I was on listing presentations, I go ahead and change that to all collections. All right, so I've got a listing presentation here. This is something you guys should be working on. I'm going to show you a couple different presentation materials for selling a home or listing a home. This is all part of your listing or buying, selling presentation conversations that you have. There are announcement letters. Yes.
Where is this? Is this back onto the dashboard?
Let's come back out. So I clicked on marketing, and I went in the marketing center.
So the little plus, under my marketing, or just the regular marketing?
Well, you can do it from the dashboard here, right? Or from the home screen. I'll come back out under my marketing. I can go to create marketing materials.
Okay, got it.
Either one's going to bring me to this marketing center.
Okay, I got it.
You got it?
Thank you.
Oh, yeah, no problem. Sometimes I go too fast. And you'll see there's different ways to sort this, right? I can look, there's monthly newsletters, there's the campaigns. If you had created custom stuff, that would be under designs. If I had uploaded a mailing list, that would be here. My design library, if I had custom created things, pricing guides for print. So different, if I wanted to print, you can get them to do print campaigns for you, print materials for you. You can print them off. I'll be honest, it's been years since I actually printed things. Most of my stuff that I do, because a lot of it is Sphere-related business, is strictly through email. But any one of these email marketing pieces can also be print marketing pieces, where you could create a flyer and mail out to a radius or an area or a farm. That gets quite expensive. So especially for your newer agents, I would be very, very careful about printing things, because you can really spend a lot of money. I encourage you that if you're going to print something, to partner print maybe with a vendor, maybe a title company or a lender or a painter, somebody else who does business and that works with you, where you can help offset the cost. Now remember, you can't have a lender pay for your entire marketing campaign if they're not, if they have to be equally represented, I guess is what I'm trying to say. That comes under RESPA. And the lenders and the title companies will understand that, and they'll have that conversation with you if you do partner with them. You could add a vendor list on the last page where you have a preferred painter or pool company or contractor, maybe charge them all $25 a month to be on your newsletter to help offset costs and posts. There's a lot of different things you can do. I always tell everybody, if you're going to do something like that, run it by Sheila first, Sheila or Steve, get approval, make sure everything's on the up and up. Don't just start taking money from vendors for advertising. Just a little segue there. Sorry, let's go ahead. Let's go back into email marketing here. All right, so again, you can search. I showed you how to search over here. I can look at greeting cards. I can look at a flyer. I turn this off so I can change what's there. Cover letter. There's cover letters for you to send out. There's announcement letters in there for you guys to send out that you're new to real estate. So there's a lot of different things that you can go down there. Again, hundreds, if not thousands of different things that are in this system. So there's just a lot of material. So again, it's just a matter of clicking through different things, see what's under different headings. Here's a blank flyer, double-sided. I'm not seeing photographs here. Either I'm slow or this looks like a new campaign. I haven't seen this one before. This is just a blank campaign where I could upload. Oh, this is uploading my own flyer. Okay. So I clicked on build your own. Sorry about that. All collections I thought I was on. There we go. design flyers. So there's all kinds of different samples. And the nice thing about this is if you're carrying a listing and you choose one of these, it'll actually pull your listing information directly into it. So you don't have to create from scratch. So part of the listing service that you'll see that you have listings. I don't currently have any listings, but they would be under this listing right here, mark up my listings, and I would be able to create flyers for them. And I could pick any one of these, and I could pick the photos that I want to use, and it's going to pull in the price, and it's going to pull in my contact information, and then I could either download the PDF to email that out, or I could create a flyer for print. I could have them at my open houses. I could hand them out when I door knock for open houses. Who's your local area expert? There's just listing. There's postcard size in there. There's the newsletter types in there. We all have different personalities, so different things speak to us. And as you start to do these different things, you might find that certain things in certain neighborhoods work better than others when you're doing handouts. If I was to click on any one of these, let's just go ahead and click on this one right here. It would ask me, it would go ahead, it would open it up, okay, and I can personalize it. Now, if I had a listing, right, then I would enter that information in there. If it was a Keller Williams listing, I could pull that information down. If it was my listing, obviously that would pull down. But if it's generic listing, I'm not going to get that, so I'll have to manage. If I click personalize, it opens up the flyer, and every one of these is editable, where I literally would just kind of click on them. I can add an image by clicking on the image and changing the image. You'll see that my contact information automatically pulls, so you won't have to change that. I have a quick drop down here on the right hand side where I can go to different areas and just change that information. And then I'll save it, download it, and I'll either print it or send it as an attachment or post it on my website or create a blog around it or a social media post. Lots of flexibility when creating this material. Don't save. Any questions on this? Okay. Print marketing, a lot of the same things. You'll see some of the similar things in email where I could print them instead. There's going to be flyers in here. There's going to be property brochures, just listeds, just solds. A little information around just listings and just solds. It's an exciting time when you do get your first contract, whether you represent the buyer or the seller, but also be conscious to what neighborhood that's in, right? So when I first relocated here to Northern Virginia, one of my first listings was down in Dale City. My second listing was out in Gainesville. I lived in Great Falls. They were both really far out from where I lived. So I didn't do just listed and just sold cards in those neighborhoods because not that I don't want business, but that wasn't my area of focus. So I didn't do just listed or just solds in those neighborhoods. I did door knock to promote my listings to get the word out there, but it was just not an area of focus for me. When I take listings in Ashburn, Ashburn Village where I live, that's an area that I would want to canvas and brag about a listing because I want to become the agent of choice in that particular neighborhood. So you guys need to understand where you're going to do business, where you want to do business, and how you market to that. Because again, you can go broke printing these things out and marketing yourself into a neighborhood that you may or may not want to be in. So don't get caught up on the newness of thinking that, okay, I took a listing, so now I have to do these just listed cards. Be conscious about how much you spend, stick to your budget. We talk about budgets. You have to be accountable to yourself and to the dollar. You do have to market properties appropriately, but you need to understand what that looks like for your business too, not just necessarily to your client. So if you have questions about that, we can talk about that offline, but I just want to kind of give you guys a heads up that it's tough out there. So be wise about what you're doing. Any questions on any of the email marketing, print marketing, or campaigns? Excellent. All right, so with that, the campaign manager itself is the great way to communicate to your database. The email marketing and print marketing is also other ways for you to kind of work with your clients and get information out there. The office has taken on a relationship with a company called Michael Lewis Marketing. Now, they do not do campaigns, so we use our database for that. What they do, however, is marketing pieces for print or for email, single pieces, custom pieces. So there's no charge for you guys to use this system, and you should all have access to it by now. You should have received an email from me or from them to your KW email address with a login and password. Your login and password is your KW email address, and the MLMS password is the password for everybody that's new. And then when you create your account, you can change that. So if you were to go to michaellewismarketingsuite.com or just click on the link in your email, it'll bring you to this page. So this is a more modern version of flyers and templates and business cards and just listed and just sold that I happen to like a little bit more than some of the market leader pieces. And as you scroll across the top, you'll see that there are business. Actually, let me backtrack a second. The first time you log in, okay, it's going to ask you to fill out your account information. It actually will pop up on the screen and ask you to add photographs, contact information. I put some of that in there for you, but not all of that. So that will be forced to you the first time you log in to put your account information in there. Once you've done that, that will allow your headshot and your contact information to auto-populate to any particular fields for anything that you choose to use. Under business cards, you'll see that there's a lot of different options because obviously you've been given free business cards by the Market Center, but you're going to burn through those and you're going to want to have something custom. So you can kind of click on that. I don't know why it's not opening at this point. Something's not working quite right. There we go. They have different series: red series, slate series, posh series. That's kind of known. These are obviously door hangers. You could design your own, but there's some really cool stuff in here. Like I said, business cards, door hangers, flyers. I think I'm just moving too fast. Different business cards. Great templates in here. Flyers, postcards, property brochures. And just like in eEdge or the market leader components, I can custom edit any one of these pieces. And basically, whether you're an Apple user or a PC user, it doesn't matter. It'll download either in PowerPoint or Pages, and you'll be able to edit that document. Now, the one thing that you have to do through this system versus Michael Lewis is that if you create something in here which is free for you to create, you have to use them as your print service. Okay, their prices are very competitive, and I'm going to show you where a cost sheet is for all of this. If you do not wish to use them as your print service, then you basically have to buy the PDF rights from them for $12. I believe it's $12 for that particular marketing piece. Now, there are single-page flyers that are free. There's a social suite that you can download and use for free, and there's a lot of stuff under free stuff. But any of these nicer pieces that are multi-page, that are the layout in a certain way, they own the templated rights for those. So you do have to download the template and either A, have them print, or B, purchase it if you're under a timeline crunch, because they are out of California. So there's a couple of day turnaround for some of this material. If you need something more local and you use them, you can download and use their stuff. Under free stuff, because we all like free stuff, there's a buyers and listing presentation. I love this piece so much more than in the market leader piece. You'll see there's a vertical and horizontal listing, right? So one is better for print, one is better for tablet, right? There's what they call their generic, their modern, their classic, and then they have their buyer consultation pieces here. So it matters just for you guys going through there, looking at different pages. They're multiple pages, like some of them are 14 to 20 pages long, and every page is fully customizable to you to talk about your business, fully editable. You know, if I was to open up one of these here, it's just going to open this up here. You actually have to download it first. See if that works fast enough to open that up. Give that a second. All right, right below that, and we'll let that open up, are email signature templates. Again, you have to download those, and there's a step-by-step process to setting up those campaigns. Oh, here we go. So any one of these pages, you see as I click on this, I can change. I can change, I can move. They're all completely open. Obviously, you would enter, change out your photograph and your contact information in here. And then once you've done this, you save it. If it's a listing presentation versus the buyer one, then you change that information in here as well. You add your bio. We talked about creating a nice bio. This is another place where you add your full bio in here. Some of the staging information that's generic. We have an in-house stager that you guys can establish a relationship with, Susan Barossa. So you could also add some photos of actual staging pictures that she might have done for you or that she's done that you can add to your photography. You can talk about professional photography in your business. Include some, if you do print media, if you don't do print media, make sure you take this out, right? You delete the certain pages. Property flyers, give some examples of what that looks like, or that you've done, or obviously in Michael Lewis, then you can just use the ones that they show, but it'd be nice if you uploaded one with your picture here. I could do that. It talks about internet marketing. There's so many more sites where you're actually on. It's actually impossible to get a complete list, but it's important to know that the most important ones are on there, right? Realtor.com, Zillow, Trulia, your own personal website, homes.com. Those are the big ones that people typically will look at. HomePads, I think so you've got Zillow, HomePads, Google Maps, Trulia. Your listings are going to be on all of those pages. Website exposure, you can put your website in here. You can add extra text if you want to put some body copy in there. Talk about social media. What is your business page? Put that in there, right? If you have background or experience in real estate, you can add your market stats, like how do you outperform the business? Why do your properties sell faster? Why Keller Williams is important to them? Our company exposure map. There's just some really, really great pieces in here. I hope you see the differences and why this is so cool. Email signature. If you open that up, you'll download that. That'll open up either in Publisher or Pages. That comes with 8 different templates for you to use and gives you a step-by-step of how to add it to either Google, or if you're going to use Outlook or things like that, I can help you. If you struggle with these pieces, schedule some time with me. I can certainly talk you through that. Language of real estate. Once you're in business a little bit more, that is that language of real estate. That's what lore is. So to become that local area expert, you can start talking about market saturation. You've done 8 listings in a particular neighborhood, and your listings sell an average of 97% to listing price in an average of 12 days, but the market sells at 92% to list in 28 days. So you can brag about yourself. Here's the pricing information that I talked to you about. They show you the different products, different prints, different size prints, how many of each finishes. You get to fully customize all of that. So that prices all that out for you here. They have an assistant, so you can do custom graphics, or they will actually create pieces for you. They have a listing package where, like, hey, if you send them all of your marketing and branding information, you can pay them a flat fee to create a marketing package for you. And then every time you have a new listing, it's a smaller fee just to kind of create all your flyers or all the announcement material that goes around with that. And then there's a photo tag PowerPoint, which isn't something we use a whole lot of because you can't add this stuff to social media anymore. So that's not as important. There's a customer care number here, so you can always call them for support. You can always chat live. They have a little chat live widget here. So it captures your contact information from your Create account, and they will get back to you if they're not live on the system at that particular time. Trying to think what else I'm missing on here. That's pretty much the big stuff for this account. So in marketing, you've got eEdge campaigns, you have eEdge print and eEdge direct mail. And then you also have Michael Lewis marketing, which is a nicer version of all that print material that you would also find in eEdge. I know what else I want to show you. I know I went through this kind of quick with the Michael Lewis marketing, but on our YouTube channel, we actually have a live presentation that we recorded from them. So if you haven't already, come to youtube.com, KW Falls Church, subscribe to the channel. Every time we add a new training like I'm doing today, it will be uploaded to the system and you'll receive email notification. But if I look at different playlists, I have one here for Michael Lewis marketing. And there's a 49-minute training session that I had with the actual designers from Michael Lewis Marketing that did a presentation for our office, and you can go back there and take a look at that and get a little bit more informed about the different pieces and how to edit. Also, under my account, they have training videos. So you can actually go to that, and which will take you to their personal YouTube training videos, and you can look at, okay, how do I do this? You know, how do I edit my account information? How do I create a property tag? How do I download, or how do I do a Google Slides presentation? How do I edit my listing presentation? Everything a little bit more slowed down detail for you in 2 to 5 minute components of how-to training videos. Just about everything you can imagine in there is there for you to use. So as like always, you have our own channel, you have me, and you have online support through our business partners, and you have their video channels of backup video support. So there's really nothing that you can't find out or can't reach if you can't talk to a live person. And that's really important for us, for you guys to know how to have all that. That's about as far as I'm going to take you guys today. We're done in just in under a minute because we weren't live, so I'm just talking the whole time, so that speeds everything up a little bit. Any specific questions on anything I covered? Sarah wants to know with the YouTube channel. YouTube channel for us is, if you go to youtube.com, okay, then it's youtube.com, and then you can either just search for Keller Williams, or sorry, KW Falls Church in the youtube.com, or you can go to youtube.com, KW Falls Church. See that up here in the header bar. Who else has questions? Anybody? You got it, Sarah. Okay, if that's it and everybody's good, I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up. Like I mentioned, I did record all this for you, so once I'm done processing, it takes about an hour or so, I will upload this to the office YouTube channel for you guys to look at a later date. We will be, weather permitting, which I think we're okay after today, we will be meeting tomorrow at 9 o'clock in the conference room behind the front desk, and we will have intro to .loop training for all you new associates. So have a great day. Enjoy the day. Remember, today is a day home, an off day for most people, so it's a great day for lead generation. So if you're trying to get a hold of people, today's a great day to reach them at home and on their phone because they may or may not be at work today. So take advantage of that time. Bye, everybody.
Thank you.